Sullivan. I live in Hull. I have twin 4-year-old daughters who are in Children's House. This is their second year there.
Cool. And what brought you to Inly? What made you decide to take your kids here?
Well, when I started looking at preschool options, they started here when they were 3. I didn't know anything about Inly. I didn't really know anything about theories of education or Montessori. I have no background in that. And it was word of mouth. I had some friends who had children here and came, checked it out, spoke with Donna, spoke with Julie, and was so impressed, just overwhelmed by how brilliant all of the theories of education were and how much sense they made to me. And Inly actually was the most diverse of the preschool options on the South Shore, and that was a big deciding factor for me.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think you love most about Inly now that you're here and now that you've gotten to know the community?
I can't answer that with one thing that I love most, and it changes, over time as my children develop and I learn more about child development and what Inly knows about that and does about that. And some of the things I was initially really blown away by were the emphasis on the individual child, how much individual attention each kid gets, and how well their teachers knew them, and how much time they spent getting to know them and understanding their learning style and understanding what they needed, and how best to get them to thrive and feel comfortable and feel self-esteem and proud of themselves and all of those things. So with my children at that really early preschool level, one of my favorite things about Inly is the emphasis on sort of educating a holistic person, mm-hmm. and creating little people with strong senses of self-identity and self-esteem and creativity. That's huge, how much time they spend, or just how much thought goes into providing an environment where a kid's natural creative potential can come out.
Have you noticed a sort of change in your children and how that has impacted them in your home as well?
Yes, absolutely.
That's good.
One more than the other. I have twins, and they are completely opposite from each other. They're so different. And I think one of them would have thrived in any preschool environment. I think she would have been fine. And the other I was really worried about. She was shy and scared and just had a lot of anxiety, was kind of behind in speech, and I was worried about whether she was ready for preschool at 3. And within weeks, I'm going to say maybe 3 weeks, she stopped stuttering. She had absolutely no qualms about going into school. There was no sadness, there was no anxiety, there was no separation issue. She couldn't wait to get to school. She was talking about the things she wanted to do. She was part of the group. She was, it was like night and day. And I give her a lot of credit for making the choice that she was going to try and she wanted to participate, but Inly gets all the credit for making an environment in which she really wanted to participate and be a part of and thrive. And it was like watching a flower bloom. It was really beautiful.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. And my other daughter, of course, she loved it. I mean, she loved it, but her path was a little more typical, I think. She just found a place that she was happy and felt nurtured and loved and safe and great. But with her sister, it was really a major transformation.
So why are you an Inly Board Member?
Well, because of all of the things I just talked about. I was so blown away. Like I say, I have no background in education, and I would talk with the head of school, and I would talk with Julie and say, these are the most brilliant people I've ever met, and what they know about child development and education is astounding, and they never stop. It seems to me they never stop learning and changing and adding to the curriculum and thinking about, I mean, they really, it seems to me that they wake up every day and spend all day, every day thinking, how can I best serve these children? And their education, their resources, their intellect is just, it seems limitless. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to help in any way I possibly could. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to just try to help further the missions that they're pursuing.
So, as you know, we turned 40 this year, and it's been a very eventful past 40 years, but we also hope that the next 40 years are just as significant for the school. Where do you see the school going, and or where would you like the school to go in the next few years, especially as your children are part of it?
You know, the slogan, unapologetically untraditional, is just so perfect for Inly's 40th. I mean, that's where it is. I just hope that it stays that way and it continues being as innovative and as dynamic and changing and independent, really. It's just so different from every other school, and I hope that it stays that way. I hope that it grows so that it can serve more children. I hope that it can become available to more kids. They have a real commitment to diversity, and that's something that inspired me to try to help on the board and to cultivate and expand that, because there's a real commitment to making global citizens, really, and exposing our children to a world that looks a little bit more like the world they're going to see when they leave here. So I would love for Inly to continue in those efforts to try to bring in children from all kinds of backgrounds.